Hey everyone. Now, I know I normally do reviews on running kits, but this is something that I use to produce videos on running kit. It helps me do that, so I thought I would show it to you today. It is the very best keyboard I think you can get for the 12.9-inch iPad today, and I'll tell you a little bit about why I think that's the case. It comes in a white box, a bit like this. I think it was launched about June 2017, so at the time of making this video, not really that long ago. Little examples of what you can do with it on the back if you like that kind of thing. It's a very posh box, first of all. It kind of feels like a nice weighty kind of Apple type thing, and indeed you can get them from the Apple Store. I'll pop a link in Amazon in the description if you want to get one from Amazon. It has a nice magnetic seal to it. It didn't come taped in anywhere, as these things often do, just really a seal to open, just like that. And when you do open it, here we go, that's the inside. Not a whole lot to see. Another example there. This comes uncovered, bit of fluff on it, and straight away one thing I do find with this, it does gather a little bit of fluff, bit of dust. Straight away there's a difference between the previous version, the Create Logitech keyboard for the iPad, and that is that the keyboard is detachable, it's separate, and you'll see it attaches to the smart connectors with those little 3 blobs there. Come back to those. You'll also see that as well as having a fully functioning keyboard, which is a lovely touch keyboard, it really feels good, and it's I would say it feels much more natural and much more responsive, and you've got much more movement in there, and indeed less noise, dare I say, than the Apple keyboard, which is actually a lot more expensive as well. And here's an interesting thing. I run the Apple Store just out of interest to inquire about the difference between this and the Apple keyboard. I knew the differences, of course, but I just wanted to see if there was anything I didn't know. And the person on the end of the phone actually told me to buy one of these and not buy one of the Apple keyboards. I know, Apple, right? And I said, are you sure? And they said, yes, and that's what we've been told to tell people, to get one of these because they're really good. So Apple are telling you to buy these above their own product. Definitely go ahead and do it. And as I say, I'll put a link to Amazon are just launching them too. I'll put a link to that on the in the description. The benefit of this one is that it also has these keys up here which enable you to control various functionality on the iPad, whether that be locking it. There are sound controls, there are media controls, so you can play things. There are the screen actually has a backlight, which I'm not too sure you'll be able to see in these lit conditions when I put it on. Sometimes you need to bring up a on-screen keyboard. That's if, for example, I do a lot of dictation when I'm typing sometimes. Well, there's no dictate button on it, sadly, but that'll bring up the on-screen keyboard where you can press the dictate button. You can alter the brightness on your iPad. You can then, this is basically a home button equivalent. And you've got the normal keys that you'll find on a Mac laptop. Now they're quite useful. I'll also put in the description a list of shortcuts that you can use these keys for within various applications. So much like you would do on a desktop, you can use various shortcut keys either in the operating system or throughout the applications that you're using on your iPad. So that's quite good. So anyway, that's the first bit you get. You get your keyboard. Then inside here you get the base, and it's kind of all you get really. You then get some registration documents. If you're into registering your products, I don't know, I'll keep my receipts, can't see any points. And so, and then a little thing that just tells you basically, put that on the back, put that on the front, whoopie-doo. And if you want more information, you can go to the Logitech website and they'll just tell you exactly the same thing. Nothing more helpful at all at this stage. In terms of the box, I'm not a massive ecologist. I like to think I'm responsible, but I do think because the box you just literally cast away straight away. A little bit of overkill, I don't know. I mean, I know kind of Apple do good stuff like that, and so they're kind of mimicking that maybe. But then I would say if you're going to do that, you haven't finished it because you've got these little, basic cardboard bits there and there. And if you're going to make a really nice posh box, which is what this is, finish it off and don't leave that there. But, perhaps that's hypocritical, I don't know. Anyway, box, what can you say? So here you go. On its own, you've got this very tough ABS plasticky type stuff. What I noticed first of all, and this is your stand at the back, if you like. Now your stand is supported by it looks tough enough, a metal bracket there, and it's kind of spring-loaded. If you look, as you kind of move that up and down, you can see it's kind of spring-loaded in there, and you let go and it springs back up again. How long that will last, I don't know. The wonderful thing straight away is it's very, very, very flexible. I'm not sure quite how far you could bend it before it broke, but it'll go right from that up to obviously that, which instantly gives you again what the previous version of the Logitech keyboard didn't give you, was lots and lots of flexibility in your angles, whether you're having it in landscape mode or in fact whether you want it in portrait mode. Obviously you don't want much flexibility in portrait mode, but in landscape mode you might want it very, very flat, or you might want it stood up a lot taller. Gives you that flexibility straight away, which is very, very good. In terms of its design on the back, it's designed for both editions of the iPad Pro. So obviously the first edition camera fits in there, the second edition that has the flash fits in there too. It's got a hole there, which for me feels a bit cheap, to be honest with you, because none of the iPads have that. So I don't know if this is a bit of plastic they also use for other reasons, I don't know. Or in fact, if they know something about the next edition of the iPad that I don't. But there's a couple of holes there, which don't match up with anything to do with the iPads, and that feels a bit kind of, well, it's not a dedicated piece of kit then, is it? A little bit cheap. But actually, it doesn't feel cheap. This is not as flush as you might expect from something like an Apple design. Of course, it's not Apple, you know, so it's a bit raised there. It's flat there, and then it kind of raises there. Not much you can do about that. That's just the way it's built, just the way the metal bracket goes. So that's that. It's got nice little touches. So you've got little rubber feet there and rubber feet there, the bits that will sit on the table. You've also got, I'll come back to in a minute, a pen holder up here, or pencil holder rather, for the Apple Pen. You could stick a pen in there if you really want to. So there we are. So let's fit this puppy, shall we? So let's get a nice little iPad Pro. So here we go. We've got oh, yeah. Right, what we'll do is clip him in there and clip him in there. Great. There you go. So that's the iPad Pro fitted. As you can see, a very sleek fitted design. You've got these buttons here which allow for your changes there. You've got the microphone slot there. You've got your speakers up there, obviously, and you can put your headphone jack in there. You've also got your bottom speakers there and your very free access, of course, to your charging point. Does remain unprotected, of course, that edge of the iPad there. And then you've got on the bottom, you've got your 3 smart connectors there. Let's just give it a little wipe. My fingers are that clean. But you've got your smart connectors, and the beauty is that when you then take this, this being your keyboard, it simply does magnetizes exactly where it needs to go. So it clicks in like that. It's a smart cover, so as you open it, the iPad comes on, and I don't know if you can see it much better there, can't you? iPad comes on and you can see exactly what's going on. I've got it just set on big settings. Actually, one thing I'll tell you straight away, I've had a little bit of issue with the smart connectors in that sometimes it doesn't seem that all 3 connect, and I've had to put it on a couple of times. And I've had to put it on a couple of times because the lights will come on the keyboard, but there's no functionality. So you pull it off and you connect it again, and everything's fine. There's a little bit of debris there, and everything's fine. Of course, it's a separate piece of equipment to the back, which has got pluses and minuses. So on the previous version of the Logitech, it was all one bit. And the keyboard was quite awkward to fold around the back, and it made it very big and bulky. This, of course, you can literally just pull it off, take it away, and just have the back and put the keyboard over there. Or, of course, you can do what we're going to do now, which is to open the back up, stand it up, and then have it down there like that, if you like. So you've got your conventional type setup. Now, this can actually act as a rest if you want, or if you rather put it underneath, it just slides underneath nicely, and that's not a problem at all. It's got rubber raised bits here, which is quite useful. because on the previous version didn't have these, and what you'd find is that the keys and the keyboard itself could actually scratch the screen. If you were gripping it tightly where the keyboard was, you could potentially damage the screen and leave little nicks on the screen. Very hard to do that with those rubber bits there. You could do it, but you'd have to try hard to do it. So from that point of view, it fits much nicer. And again, of course, you've got very, very deep. Go all the way back if you wanted to, or all the way up like that. And of course, when it is in that mode there, you've got this lovely thing up there for your Apple Pencil. And of course, in iOS 11 and going forward beyond iOS 11, the Apple Pencil is going to be much more relevant to non-artists as well as artists, because you can do an awful lot more with the pencil in iOS 11 and going forward than you could in other versions of iOS. So it's good to have that there. How long it lasts, it feels quite tough to me, and it's a good grip, and it makes your pencil quite available, which is great. Folds up like that. I have found, right, this is an interesting thing, that because you do grip it there, and you do, it is just plastic at the end of the day. I was walking down the street the other day, and as I squeezed it, music started playing. So obviously, what I need to do is turn off access to the media controls from the lock screen, because I'd obviously pressed the play button. I've actually turned the sound down now, I think, so even if I am doing it, it won't work. But that's one thing you've got to look out for. But I think that's going to be one thing on any of them at all. I think it's the best out there. The Apple product, of course, is much more expensive than this. No point in me giving you pricing, because depending on where you live or when you buy, it'll be completely different. But the Apple keyboard is a lot more expensive than this. It's about upwards or just under 50% more, depending on where you buy it. And actually it's less functional because it's just a front cover. You've still then got to buy something for the back, and you've still got to buy something for the back which also covers, or which is also compatible with the cover, so it doesn't hide the smart connectors. This does give you both. It gives you the back and the front. You've got that lovely ability to have it at any angle you want, whether it be horizontal or vertical, so that's kind of really good. You can do that absolutely, which is great if you want to do that. I think it's the best keyboard on the market. If you're in the market for a keyboard, you've got to bear in mind that it does come off quite quickly and quite easily. So again, if you are in a situation where you think, oh yeah, I just want to put that around, it's not going to go around the back, it's just going to come off. So bear that in mind, that it isn't going to stay on indefinitely, it will come off. Apart from that, I have to say, I think it's a very good piece of kit. The additional keys are a massive bonus. And if you look at the links, it takes a while to get used to the shortcut keys, but you really can move around. Something in me feels this might have had a trackpad on it. I don't know. It also gets grubby quite quickly. Don't forget, this is going to go on the bottom of your keyboard all the time, so wherever you're putting it, it's going to get a bit grubby. This, I don't know how long that'll last, how long it'll look neat. Time will tell. You've got to keep your connectors clean on both the iPad and on this. And there is a bit of dodginess with the connecting there, but if you look at the failure rate on the Apple keyboards, that's pretty high, really. Hopefully this will be a lot better than that. And you've got the extra functionality of those keys. It really is a full size. If you're good at typing, you can just really get on with it. And it's a lovely thing. And actually with the pencil and with your finger, it's actually very easy. Of course, you can scroll up and down with the up and down buttons as well. It's obviously not a laptop, and there are some things you would always prefer a laptop and or a desktop for, but it's a pretty good journey towards that destination, if you like. It's a really good addition. So there we are, the Logitech Slim Combo keyboard and protective cover. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe, because there will be more videos coming along. Take a look at my other ones. And if you've got a moment, do give it a thumbs up. Both those two things, subscribing and giving it a thumbs up, really help. If I've missed something, or if you've got any questions about this or any other keyboard or any of the comments, then put them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get back to you as and when I can. But thanks for looking. See you next time.